to your opinion. I'll consider it. I respect it, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna change my mind. Like, I'll definitely follow my heart, I guess you could say.
Welcome to the Conversations with Kai Mann show. I'm your host, Kai Mann, and this is the show where we bridge the gaps one story at a time. And today I have on the couch with me Cassandra Carter. Cassandra is an author and she's also a model. She's dope, y'all. I met you, let's say, oh my God, it's been so long ago.
Right, I was probably like in my early 20s.
Yes,
like I was probably like 22.
Yeah, you were really young, like the little sister of MWN.
I was like the youngest one in there.
Yeah, you were.
Was.
It was amazing though. I'm so glad to have you
I'm kind of used to that though, honestly. It's been a lot of times where I'm, because like people think I'm like more, they've always said I'm more mature for my age, so a lot of times I've, the older kids don't mind having me tag along. Like my older cousins and stuff, I used to always like run with them and they didn't mind having me around. I wasn't like the burden, like, oh, you gotta take your little cousin with you, and they're like, oh my God, like I was always cool, like my first job ever, working at Old Navy, I was like the only one there from high school. Everybody else was college kids, so I'm like this little 16-year-old, everybody else in there is, and like, yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm glad to have you on the show today. I really want to have you on because I really have been paying attention to you. I see you grinding out here. I see you doing this modeling thing, and I'm like really feeling it. I'm like, look at her. You are growing and you are blossoming. If I may, I want us to go back to that time when you were, in your earlier 20s, and you were just like writing your first book. Tell us why you write. Well, honestly,
writing for me has just always been like real natural. I've just always been a writer, like ever since I was a little girl. I think really what it stems from, like my love of just like stories and storytelling, is because like my mom read to me a lot when I was young. So I think like really that's what gave my first taste, because when I was like a little girl, like I would write like little stories for my mom and like draw pictures and like but like full stories though, like not like little paragraphs. Like no, we had pages, we had full pictures, the whole nine. So that's where like things kind of started for me. And then once I got into high school and you had to start thinking about like what you want to do with your life, and I had like more people kind of shifting attention to me in my writing, and like I got a lot of praise from peers and teachers, but I still was like, oh, I'll be a journalist, I'm not really going to be an author. Really the inspiration for Fast Life, which is like the first book I ever wrote in my life, first book I ever tried to write, came from a dream I had when I was like 14. I was on summer break from high school, so I kind of woke up from that dream, heard this voice that inspired me to write the book. Started outlining, planning, started writing it. It just kind of snowballed over time, and here we are. So in a nutshell, long story short, yeah.
What has life been like for you though? Not even just as a writer, but as a person growing up here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. What has life been like for Cassandra Carter?
Well, for me, like, I don't know. I don't want to say like struggle, I guess, but I have like really high standards set for myself, and it's certain things that I really want to like achieve, and a certain like vision I have for my life. So I think like I've always kind of like been working towards that, like the 9-to-5 life. I'm still juggling that, and like for any creative, that's just like torture.
Right.
You feel like you're wasting your time. You have all these other better abilities, and I think that's part of like. Sorry, losing my train of thought.
Okay.
I do that all the time, because see, like my mind just goes so much quicker like than my mouth does, and I'm always coming up with like all these ideas like for stories or whatever, and it's just always so much going on. I'm always balancing, like now I have the book stuff, now I have the modeling, now I'm like starting to get into like the blogging a little bit more, so I can show my personality a little bit more and speak on topics that I normally don't really touch on my other social media outlets.
So outside of modeling and going through, being a writer and growing up in Ann Arbor, and kind of like you said, you didn't want to really say that you had struggle. Most of us do. Most of us do.
Every project definitely has its what's the word? I guess it's challenges. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Okay, it's like when I did Fast Life. Coming into the game, like my first challenge was I had to take this book, basically cut it in half, So, you know, for a lot of authors, like, the idea of editing is kind of like, oh my God, what? You know, like, but it made the book better. I'm really happy that we did that. You know, we took it from like over 500 pages, because I'm crazy like that. And we cut it down to like a little bit over 3. So, you know, but I mean, you can tell, like, even with the new book, like, it's pretty long, because I'm just pretty wordy like that. But Love, Lies, and Consequences, you know, I had took a project I already did, reworked that, put that out as my first, like, independent project. So there was a lot of pressure. Like, there was a big gap in between, like, my second book and that release. So I was really worried, like, I really just want people to see, like, my growth. I really, like, appreciate that, like, when people see, you know, my growth just as a person, you know, in my writing, in my modeling, whatever it may be, because that's definitely, like, I guess that's what I'm always striving for. It's just to grow and to constantly, like, get better at anything that I'm doing and dedicating my time to. You know, the struggle that was behind 16 is always sweet. Like, I busted my butt to do edits. It got to them, like, literally like a day late. They said they weren't going to be in there. I'm like, we're not dropping a book then, you know, so had to kind of play a little hardball there. And then with the newest project, I had to push it back by like a month. I had gotten some, like, family news unexpectedly that kind of threw me off, and I just had some other stuff I had to iron out. I was literally, you know, putting that down, like, at the wire, you know, but I got it done, and I'm very proud and happy with the direction that things are going. So.
If you were to say from maybe from 10 years ago to today, when we talk about growth, because you know, a lot of it you talk about is in your writing, but I want to know personally, what has been the growth that has happened for you since 10 years ago up until now?
I mean, honestly, like, I know you're saying, like, it's kind of like, it still kind of ties in that for me, because to me it's like my hustle. Like, for me, I feel like one of my biggest regrets was the fact that I was in, like, this serious relationship in high school from the time I was like 16 to like 21, and it really just wasn't like a healthy relationship. It wasn't really where I needed to be. But, you know, you're young, you're in love. You know, I had my little kind of situation, my own little fast life situation going on. You know, I was living that thug life, thug love, all the above. So, you know, I was living that life or whatever a little bit back then, but I was really not focused on, like, myself like I should have been. And so, like, after the fallout of that relationship, like, all that drama that proceeded, and just, you know, losing, like, my companion that I'd had by my side all the time for like 5 years, and really kind of after that, like, not knowing who I was. Like, I started my 20s and I was, like, really lost. Like, I didn't really have any friends because of that. Like, you know, I had pushed everybody away. I was, you know, just with my boyfriend all the time. Like, you know, I hadn't been, like, hustling like I should have been. I hadn't been, like, writing like I should have been. You know, I just was just happy being in love. Like, I wasn't focused on me. And so, like, when that was removed, it really forced me to, like, build my self-esteem back up and, like, realize, like, my worth. And so that's something that I've, like, spent pretty much, like, my whole 20s doing, is, like, getting, like, back on my grind for real, and, like, really taking charge and, like, figuring out what exactly it is I want, you know, and just going for it. That's kind of part of too, like, why I'm still single, because, like, when it comes to that, I'm not really sure what I want. So I kind of just leave that alone, like, you know, until I'm sure, because I don't want to play games and stuff. And I mean, it can get challenging too, because, like, all my books kind of have, like, a romance element, so you want to muse, and I mean, everyone wants to be loved and, you know, have love and stuff, but, you know, it's hard out here. I'm still single and stuff, but I'm definitely still, like, open to the idea of love and, like, finding it again. But I'm just, like, it taught me a lot of, like, what I didn't want. So I definitely had a lot of lessons that I learned, like, at an early age, that I think a lot of people, I hope they don't learn ever, but for a lot of people, they learn, like, later in life. So, you know, that was a real big blow to me, like, coming into, like, my early 20s and going through that. And so, like, for me, I've just been just focused on me, like, building my brand up, you know, just getting back on track with the books, keeping that going, you know, realizing I can balance the books and the modeling. I don't have to limit myself, and, you know, going after that dream as well. So, and,
well, you've been doing good. You know, you're doing good. you stepped into this whole modeling world, and how different is that, the modeling world versus, you know, the writing and being an author? How different are the two?
Well, I mean, it's not that much different because it's a lot of rejection and you're gonna be judged. So I mean, there's that. Just for different reasons. You know, for the model, I'm being judged more on my looks, and my writing, I'm being judged on the story and the ability and everything. So there's some similarities, but you know, going into modeling right now, I'm still trying to sneak my way up in the industry on a different level. I want to definitely take it to that next level. I feel like I am progressing, and I have progressed a lot since I really started taking things serious about like a year and a half, 2 years ago or so now. So I'm, you know, taking those baby steps. I'm getting better auditions. I might not always get the audition, but it's part of it, you know, and at least I'm getting these opportunities now. Because I do recognize the value of the opportunity too. And the fact that like, it really is important to just get your face out there, to get your name out there, because these people really might remember you, and you just never know. Like, I had actually got an opportunity to be an extra in the Batman Superman movie that they filmed out here, right?
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like, I got picked to film 2 scenes. We did the like Day of the Dead scene where he was saving the girl from the burning factory. So I done like full costume and everything. It was really cool, but you can't see me in the scene because of how it's all set up. But then at the end of the movie, you can see me like real clear. And it's for like literally like 2 seconds. Oh God, like it's for like 2 seconds. It's, you know, it's not the most well lit part. Like, I'm surprised that so many people to this day message me like, "I seen you.
Wow.
Is that you? Is that you at the end of the movie?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." And that just proved to me though, like, I have a memorable face, you know, because these are people that haven't seen me in years, and they literally seen a flash of my face on the screen when they didn't know to look for me. They didn't know I was in there. I didn't know I was in there till I seen it. You know, I'm sitting there at the movies because just because you were there, you don't know if your scene's gonna make the movie. You don't know. You know, like when we did that scene, the camera came right in front of me, so I was like hopeful, but you just never know, you know. And so yeah, so I mean, it was a pleasant surprise, and I still get a lot of love off that. So it makes me like hopeful that through all this rejection, something will come about eventually. Because sometimes it is the timing. You know, it's a lot of different like funny factors involved and stuff. And you know, they're definitely both difficult industries. They're very competitive, oversaturated industries. You know, there's a lot of other pretty girls out there that's younger than me, that, you know, XYZ. You know, it's 1,000 books being, you know, a billion books being added to Amazon right now. You know, half of them being added for, you know, 99 cents. So they gonna buy that before they buy, you know, something for me or something more. You never know, you know. So I mean, because I just see like a big spike in that, and that seemed to be successful for a lot of people. And I know there's been a lot of controversy about that stuff too. But,
exactly, yeah. But, so let's talk a little bit about rejection. Because the simple fact of, you know, we all get rejected at one point in time, but in the industries that you're in, especially modeling, rejection is like a part of the game. It is a part of the game. How do you, when, you know, not even being in that piece of it before, kind of get your skin tough enough where you're able to, you know, withstand the rejection? How was it at first versus how is it now, or is it still the same? Well, I mean, like now with the modeling and stuff, like you'll get rejection, but they're not like really nitpicking on you. You don't really know why. You know, you didn't get it. So like a lot of times, like it's torturing, like it's me torturing myself in my mind, like, well, why didn't they pick me? Why didn't I hear anything yet? Like, why, you know, haven't I just gotten this like one opportunity or this one shot, or, you know, what are they looking for? And it's like all these other questions that start to come up. But I mean, like, I just know that it really takes just that one yes. And so I just know that I have to keep doing it until I get it. You know, like I said, I mean, I get some stuff, you know, but I'm trying to get some more of the, like, the bigger jobs. Like, you know, I would love to do, like, the auto show. You know, I had an audition for it with Galen Rice, but I didn't get it, unfortunately. But, you know, it's a step in the right direction because that's an opportunity I didn't have previously. You know, and had I not done other things and invested in myself in other ways, you know, with having the right materials to present, too, that's important. Having a really good comp card, you know, making that investment. And a lot of people try to cut corners and stuff like that. So I'm, you know, taking those steps now, getting all that together. So hopefully, you know, somebody will bite soon, but
just trying different markets, different ways, you know, to go about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
This is the Conversations with Kai Mann show. I'm your host, Kai Mann. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, Detroit, and welcome to the secret society of twisted storytellers, where real people tell true stories live on stage. No notes, no poetry or Dr. Seuss, just the truth from their lips to your listening hearts and minds. Stories so raw and revealing, so hilarious, human and healing, they will move and inspire you. Take a break from what you usually do. Come out, connect, meet old friends and new. Every third Friday at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History. Visit www.secretstorytellers.com to watch videos and for info and tickets today.
Elevation Nation Media Group, an entertainment agent for media coverage and access. We create and produce inspired development video and audio content, such as films, short films, documentaries, talk shows, transformational reality shows, radio shows, podcasts, PSAs, commercials, video profiles, and video resumes. Why Elevation Nation Media Group? Because we elevate you by any means necessary. Contact us at www.elevationnationmedia.com.
And welcome back to the Conversations with Kai Mann show. I'm your host, Kai Mann, and today we are sitting here and we are talking with Cassandra Carter. We have her on the couch with us today. Now, before we went to break, you were really kind of breaking it down for us. Like, you started going into the investment piece of it. A lot of people have a hard time with investing in themselves. I heard you also say that you're kind of a stickler about what it is that you do. Talk to us about how you really, did your comp card and what you were really hoping to accomplish with it. So, and how you invested, in yourself as well.
Yeah, I mean, and when we were talking earlier too about the growth between when you first met me and now, I'm a little bit more willing to invest in myself, and I see the value in that more than I did then. Then it was more about the money. It was more about the fact that maybe I didn't have the money. Now it's just about getting the money, how I'm gonna get the money. It's not even about the money no more, really. Because you get what you pay for. So sometimes it is necessary, you're gonna have to pay. And I was coming up on my trip for LA. Tyler Moncrief, actually, I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right, but he was, he's a photographer. He's actually up in, I think it's Pontiac, that I went up to his studio, and he was having a special. So it was a couple weeks before I went for my first little trip to LA, which was a big step for me too, because it was my first time traveling by myself. I'm going across the country, downtown LA. I'm doing it,
Right.
So, and it was a great experience too at that. But with I went up there, I got the comp card done. I think it was just 125, and he got all the different angles, got all my measurements on there, real clean, nice presentation that really was tailored more to what the bigger agencies want to see. So I literally, I think, picked that up the week I was going out there, that they were done, printed and ready and stuff. So I picked those up, went out there, to start shopping them, started shopping them at little networking events that I'm at and everything like that. So that was kind of how that all came about. I did a comp card previously that I had put together of just different images I shot from different photographers. So I had already put something together, and in that case I just had paid my dude Jane Hall, shout out to him because he's a big supporter and always shows a lot of love, but I had paid him to put together that comp card and just put the shots on there. So I had I think 3 or 4 different photographers on there just to try to show them my diversity, in how versatile I am, because I feel I'm a real versatile model. I feel I'm a real versatile writer, and I'm definitely trying to put that out there as much as I can.
What would you say is the most, I don't know, really unique thing about you? If I were really looking at who you were as a person, what's the most unique thing that you would say, or something that stands out for you?
I mean, I think it's definitely just my personality. I think a lot of people aren't quite prepared for what they get when they see me. Cause I mean, I really do just say like what I want. I keep it real all the time. Like I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be anybody's yes man. Really, I rarely care enough to even try to lie. Like I don't do that.
Yeah.
So like you can definitely count that on getting my honest opinion on whatever you're asking and stuff like that. I think that's something I picked up from my mom too, because like that's one trait about her that I really admire, is that she's like always honest. Like I know she gonna keep it real with me to it. There's a lot of people in my family like that actually that I know, like regardless of the fact that I'm their niece or granddaughter or whatever, like they're gonna tell me the truth. Like nah, you out here messing up, or this is trash, or cover up, or something, you know, like whatever it is.
And how do you have you always been like receptive to, you know, the honesty that they've given you?
I mean, sometimes it does get a little bit hard because sometimes I feel like people don't always know like the industry like you might, you know, so certain things or certain expectations might not always be like reasonable, or you know, I mean, I know there was a time where like me and my grandmother were butting heads a lot about the sequel to Fast Life, and like she low-key kind of, I don't think she didn't really want me to do it because we were just like, and we have a good relationship, but like we was like arguing like all the time, like when we talked about just anything pertaining to like business or anything along those lines. It was just not good. And but then I dropped the project and she read it, and then it was like, okay,
yeah,
you did good. Okay, because she was like, you know, you beating a dead horse. It's been so long. Move on. Do something new. You know,
wow.
She was like, you know, you could end up like hurting your career more than helping it if you don't put out something like A1. Right. And I think a part of it though too, to be honest and just be honest, I think it was because I wasn't like signed anymore. I wasn't doing it under like a big publishing house anymore. You know, Harlequin's like the biggest romance publisher I think like in the world. Right. You know, so I didn't have them backing me no more to give me that cosign and say, okay, this is good. You know, I was kind of winging it and putting it out there on my own to, you know, I didn't have anybody to tell me beforehand, hey, this is good or not, or you should really make all these extra changes. You know, I couldn't get as in depth on the editing as I could when I had like that team behind me before. So,
but how important is it? Because I hear exactly what it is that you're saying. You are a young woman, and this is your path to forge, and you're actually standing up on your own 10 toes, and you're going for it and you're doing it. How hard is it to really stand there and really, you know, give yourself the honest, the most upright everything in order to move forward in your career and not let everything that other people are kind of like saying to you tear you down? Like you're standing there and you're saying, okay, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do it, right? Yeah. Where does that come from?
I'm stubborn. I just do what I want. Like I don't know, like once I have my mind made up, like, you know, I'll listen to your opinion, I'll consider it, I respect it, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna change my mind. Like I'll definitely follow my heart, I guess you could say, and follow my passions wherever that leads. It's not always the best outcome, but it's always a learning experience. Like this year I said to myself too, like I refuse to take any L's. Any L, I just turn that really into like a lesson. I find something out of that. Like I was supposed to go to New York in February for Fashion Week. My trip literally fell apart the day I was supposed to leave. Like my flight got totally canceled. Spirit, funky airlines. Anyway, so they did me bad, y'all. Had me out here. So I'm like, man, what am I gonna do now? Like, you know, I'm not gonna be able to meet up with like all these photographers I had lined up out here and, you know, network, blah blah blah. All right, well, I got my time off work. I got the money back because thankfully, like, I had everything refunded to me, my hotel, everything. I have the money. So I know that there's open calls in Chicago. So I called my friend. I'm like, Vicky, what you doing tomorrow? Like, I'm about to head to Chicago in the morning. You down to come? She worked third shift. And she's like, yeah, I get off in the morning. Come get me. Fine. So I go up to the city, get her. We drive straight out to Chicago, go straight to the agencies, hit Wilhelmina first, Ford, and then Factor, Chicago. Yeah. So that was like that whole experience. And then like we had an experience where like our hotel we were staying at had like bed bugs. We had to like flee the city.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So like it's not all glitz and glitter. Like, and it's supposed to be like a 4 or 5 star hotel like downtown Chicago. Like it was so trite. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Wow.
I don't want to talk about. I don't want to think about it.
But you have this hustle about you. And was that hustle that you have now, like, did you always hustle like that? Was it something that you learned to do?
Kind of, like, because I remember like being like, 13, 14, trying to get a job at like a grocery store to bag, like to start getting money. Like, I've always just had that drive. I think part of it comes from being in a, growing up in a single parent home. You know what I'm saying? And like my mom like was always the one, carrying that load. So as I got older, I think I just wanted to help like relieve that. And so I've been working pretty much since I'm 16. You know what I'm saying? Like in some capacity or another. Like I've always been a go-getter like that. Like I was the first out of all my friends actually to have a job. They was dropping me off at work. We all hanging out. Oh, I gotta go to work. Drop me off, and they went about their business, but I went and got my money,
Right.
And I don't know, that's just kind of always how I've been. I think part of it too was the rejection from like my father. Like I do not have a relationship with him, you know what I'm saying? And I know, and there was a time where that was not the case, so that definitely, like when I wanted to do my modeling, I remember at one point I reached out to him and I asked him for help and he told me to do what I had to do.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? So here I am doing what I gotta do to get things done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't let people like hold me back. I think sometimes people think like if they don't do something for me or with me or co-sign something for me, like it's not gonna get done. And it's just like, it's just gonna get done without you. That's it. You can either be a part of it or you can sit there and watch.
Who's been your ride or die, the person that has really, been hanging out with you, since the beginning of everything?
I mean, my mom definitely holds me down in every aspect. Like, I will say that's like my best friend, and she's helped me. There's been so many times where like I think she sees every side of it. She sees how much like I grind. She sees how hard I work. She sees the times where like I want to break down and cry, about whatever frustrations I have or anything like that. I would say that's probably the person I vent to the most. But I am also really lucky that I have a lot of readers that have actually been around since like the beginning. So I feel like I have a little relationship with them, and I love to see them like growing and doing good and stuff, because some of them are like younger than me, so like they're just getting to certain like milestones in their life. And so I'm just like, oh, look at you growing up, like it's cool to see. And that's the cool thing about like these, like what I do too. I think it's like these stories are things that people can either look forward to and like relate to, or look back on and relate to, or at the very least like be entertained.
Right.
I try not to be like preachy and do too much of that. And with the stuff that I do go through in my life, a lot of it really doesn't make it to my books. Like, so.
Really?
Yeah. Like a little, like just bits and pieces. Like, I'll find like little descriptions or certain things like that, but like certain scenarios or people or certain stuff, I always try to put like a little twist on things, so I try to like leave that type of stuff out. So
right.
I've had people though asking me like from the beginning. I think like after I dropped like the first book, like, are you gonna do like an autobiography ever and stuff? And I'm like, I don't know, like I'm not that old yet. I haven't really done nothing, especially back then I was like a teen. I'm like, God, I just graduated high school, like that's about it, like, at that point. So, but maybe there will be a time where I'll write a book a little bit more, personal, like on stuff like that, because the blog is helping me kind of open up a little bit. I will say, as much as like I am online and partaking in conversation stuff, I am a little like more guarded with myself and who I am as a person and like stuff I've been through. So I'm trying to
why do you think that is though?
I think it's just like over like experiences I've had over time, like just I've been through everything. I think everybody has like failed friendships, and stuff like that. And that stuff impacts you just like relationships, like a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship or something. So,
right.
And just like the way our society is set up right now, honestly, like people just real shallow, people real materialistic, people like real opportunists, so it's real hard to find like genuine people and consistent people. And like one thing I realized about myself too is that I had a habit of trying to hold on to everyone forever, and realizing that people, like, you're gonna outgrow people. And sometimes I feel like that happens for me a little bit quicker because I'm like evolving so much faster, because I'm like striving for something that's really not like your typical or ordinary thing, and a lot of people can't like really relate to that.
Right.
So like for me, I would love to like cultivate more of a circle of creatives. I love being surrounded by like my creatives. I'm like at my happiest at that point. So like it's kind of hard though, because it's always like this fine line of like business and like pleasure, like with it being like more friendly and friendship, and then like doing business. But I love picking everybody's brain at like the photographers I work with and makeup artists, whatever it is. I'm always trying to like learn from them and like know how long they've been doing what they've been doing and stuff like that. So
wow, I see you from a different perspective because of how we met. And when I look at you, I always think, oh my gosh, she's just doing everything. Like you are doing the dang thing. But we'll really get into that. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll come right back and talk about that.
Okay.
This is the Conversations with Kai Mann show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Focus One Entertainment is Detroit's premier entertainment company. But we're not just an entertainment company. We are your #1 multimedia resource. Focus One has combined years of talent and experience in order to bring you what you're looking for in a video, a polished professional product. F1 Entertainment specializes in filming workshops, seminars, and corporate presentations. More and more businesses are utilizing video production services to create web virtuals, online marketing content, and promotional and corporate training videos. Your company can do the same with Focus One Entertainment. Contact Focus One Entertainment at 313-444-3638 or visit us on the web at www.focusoneentertainment.com.
And we are back. This is the Conversations with Kai Mann, and I'm sitting here talking with Cassandra Carter. She is an author as well as a model. She's been doing the dang thing here in the city of Detroit and all over. I've really been watching you from the first time that I saw you at the Motown Writers Network. You know, I thought you were even younger than what you were. I was like, oh, she's just a little baby writer. But it was so cool just to be able to see you grow. Yeah. So as I watch you on Instagram, and a lot of people, I say this and I mean it with everything in me. I am an observer by nature. That's just who I am. And when I actually sit down and I watch you through social media, because of course, you know, you and I, we're not hanging out or anything like that. So I watch you through social media and I see the growth. I see how you've gone from one industry and you just tackled another one. I see your pictures as being bold and ferocious.
Thank you.
Yes, they're bold and ferocious. And I'm like, she is going, the next time when I look, this is what I always feel, the next time when I look at your page or I look at whatever you're doing, then I'm going to see you in a whole different space. Because you're right, you were talking a little bit, you know, before about you evolve so fast, and that's exactly what you're doing, and I'm so very proud of you. I'm so very proud of you. You're working hard. Like, what does a day in a life look like for you?
Oh my God. Well, like right now, you know, I'm still doing the 9-to-5 thing, so I pretty much go to work. You know, I work like 8:30 to 5. A lot of times, like while I'm at work, I'm filling out like apps for other like model opportunities, audition stuff, you know, submitting pictures and stuff like that, doing book promo, like tackling like all those opportunities. So that's been kind of nice that I've had a little bit more time to dedicate to that I have in the past, like multitasking at the same time. So I've been able to get a lot more opportunities through that. So like I'll do that. A lot of times I'll come home, I'll have to do something else book related, like, you know, I have to come home and edit, write, outline something along those lines, or, you know, just everyday life, you know, errands and keeping up with things, you know, keeping up with the house, you know, just that kind of stuff, trying to have some kind of social life. And then right now, like my weekends, I'm pretty much booked like every weekend doing some kind of like promo or brand ambassador work and stuff, and starting to, build that resume up and like just get out here and get paid. Because everybody wants everything for free. And I'm just like, okay, like, no, we passed the free stuff. No, we're off the free stuff. So yeah, but the last shoot I did, shoot, it's funny because like I'm a planner. I plan stuff. I like to be organized. Like I'm not that, I'm not like, oh my God, but I like to have my stuff together. So when I do a shoot, I usually have everything planned from, what the look's gonna be, the makeup, where we're shooting, everything. That last shoot that I did with like Myron Watkins, like it was like going together like the day of. Like he hit me up that morning and we had talked like Thursday, and then he hit me like Saturday morning. I was like, so what you trying to shoot? I just seen some pictures in my phone that I had taken some like for screenshots for like inspiration, and I was like, let's do something like this, I guess. And then I had a makeup appointment already. Go get my makeup done. She killed it. Shout out to Kayla at Sephora because she killed my makeup that day. And then went and shopped for it like after, because I'm just like walking in the stores like, oh, I guess this will work. Yeah, I guess this will work. Yeah. So I just went into like 2 stores, grabbed a couple things, ran up there to meet him. Like we like tidied up the studio space. Like we're like cleaning like off the mirrors, like the windows. We sweep the floor, make sure everything looks good. And then we did that shoot, and it was a little more like sexy for me than like I usually do. So but for me, like it was a big like self-esteem booster because like I'm skinny, you know what I'm saying, and a lot of people were like, oh, you're so tiny, and and we just live in this society right now where it's like sometimes it feels like you're not even attractive if you don't have some fat ass, like, you know what I'm saying, like if I don't have this ridiculous booty, like I'm just not like, well, she doesn't have ass though, like I don't know, like, and so like that shoot like kind of made me feel a little bit better about like my body, like, I'm actually doing something for us slim girls. This ain't too bad, for a slim girl. So, and it's more where it came from too. I still got more pictures to drop from that shoot. Like we did we got a lot of good shots out of that, and a lot of the pictures too that I post are raw. Like they're not edited at all. Like
that is so dope, and they're beautiful.
Thank you. So like I like to do as much like raw stuff I can put out versus like the Photoshop stuff. I mean, like it's nice and stuff, and I have had some stuff that's retouched, but it's really rare, and it's like really. I try to like hope that it's like as minor as possible, right? And that's part of like being a good model though, is getting like good frames, and a good amount of time, and doing that. And that shoot actually we did like 4 different looks and stuff. A lot of the shoots I do lately, I'm like 1-2 looks or something like that, because a lot of times like we'll be like on location somewhere and stuff like that. So being in that space, like it was a lot more to work with, and I was comfortable with him, because that all matters too. Like just the vibe that you have like with the music and the space and the photographer, and just how you feel about like yourself and how you look and everything like that. So but I was very happy with that shoot.
Wow. Well, you've been growing, and I'm seeing it by leaps and bounds.
Thank you.
You have a new book out. Let's talk about your new book.
My new baby. Yes, like my newest baby, gotta show it off. So Paradise and Promises, and Into the Fast Life. This is the 3rd book and the end of my Fast Life series. So we got Fast Life here. So this is book number 1. And then this is Love, Lies, and Consequences of the Fast Life, which is part 2. And then this is the big fat book to finish it up. So yeah, I'm really proud with how the series turned out. I really never even thought I would be an author, let alone to have 4 books out, a whole series really. When I wrote Fast Life, I didn't intend to do a sequel or let alone a 3rd book, but I definitely had, that character had a lot to say, Kyra. Yeah. That was like my main character. So Paradise and Promises and Into the Fast Life, basically it picks up at the end of the 2nd book. My characters, Kyra and Justin, are like forbidden lovers, but they snuck off to get eloped. And their parents and like everyone that they know is totally against this marriage. It also doesn't help that Justin kind of ditched his previous situation at the altar. So it's a lot of drama. It's a lot of action, sex. My books are always kind of jam-packed with a lot of drama, a lot of romance, So Paradise and Promises, I don't want to give too much away. It's so hard for me to talk about my books because, like, as an author, I'll just start telling you the whole thing. But I would just say, like, overall, like, all my books, I try to write them, like I was telling you earlier, like movies. Like, because it plays like a movie in my mind. Like, when I see these stories, then I come up with these characters and everything's playing out. So I try to, like, do my best to put that down on paper, so when you read it, it reads back like a movie. And that's why I think I get so much movie talk, and people say this should be a movie, this should be a movie. But Paradise and Promises kind of I think, like, solidifies, like, their, like, relationship and everything. But you just gotta kind of see, like, what happens. I don't want to, like, really give it away. I will say that you can read, like, little sample chapters and stuff online. I do have that available and everything like that. And you can just go off the reviews themselves. People love them. I mean, like, one thing I learned as a writer, so, like, writer tip here for anybody that's interested, you gotta hook your readers from the beginning. I learned that, I think, in, like, my 9th or 10th grade English class. And that was, like, one thing that really stuck with me. So, like, whenever I start a book, like, I know I have to start this in a way that's gonna hook you and keep you engaged. And so, like, every chapter, like, I'm constantly doing that and adding, like, kind of, like, layering on that drama and that romance and that storyline, but without, like, overwhelming the reader. Because I think sometimes people, like, they don't know how to layer one plot. They start, like, branching off into too many subplots, and then you got, like, main stories going with 5 different characters, and you're bouncing around, and then, like, the major story kind of gets lost. So that was, like, I think that's one thing I do well as a writer. Like, my books are quick reads, they're entertaining reads. I don't write boring books. I feel like they're kind of representative in a sense of, like, just how I talk and converse. And I try to write them with as real as possible, still with that little, like, element of fantasy and escape to it, because I mean, reality sucks. But it can get boring. Everyday life, it can get boring. No one wants to read that in a romance. Because actually, here's a surprise too. A lot of my readers, especially, like, my readers that have been with me for a long time, will be surprised to know that in the original version of Fast Life, Kyra died at the end. Like, I killed my main character. Like, yeah, like, it was a whole different story. And a lesson I learned in the book industry, specifically of romance, so that people, like, they want a happy ending. Right. You know what I'm saying? They want something to take away because this is the present. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was just the drama, and I'm like, oh yeah, I like to get people, like, I like to evoke emotion. I feel like it's an author's job to evoke emotion. Like, I feel like you're not gonna read one of my books with a straight face. Like, you're gonna react, you're gonna laugh, and and I've had people, like, laugh, cry, get mad, want to throw the book, and it's all in the same book, like, it's all in the same story over time, and they get so involved and so invested in it. It makes me so excited as an author, because this is literally, like, something I've just created, and these people, like, will talk to me like these people are real people, like Kyra and Justin sometimes, especially. So I think that they're definitely a good weekend read. We're getting up onto that fall winter season. It's cold, you don't want to leave the house. Quick little ebook, quick paperback. I try to, like, maximize my distribution as much as possible to give everyone as many options as possible, so no matter how you prefer to read. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, you are this amazing writer, this amazing person, this amazing model, and you're stepping out and doing some more things. What would you kind of leave with us for someone who is trying to kind of follow in your footsteps? Someone who maybe is a writer, or somebody who's just getting into modeling. What are some tips or some things that you can tell them? Help them?
I think, one, you really have to, you do have to believe in yourself. And I think that's one thing too, like, where sometimes I get a little frustrated because, like I was telling you earlier, like, I'm not getting, like, the love I feel like I deserve sometimes, like, online and on social media. And it's because, like, I'm more aware of my work and I believe in myself that much. So, like, now I am getting, like, okay, where y'all at? Why you don't see it? Let me show you, like, let me sell you and bring you over to my side. And even, like, when I was telling you about that confrontation I had with that one designer that I used to, like, idolize and just, like, love to death, and he's got over 1 million followers on Instagram. Like, he's a big deal. I in that conversation I was like, I'm not gonna apologize for believing in myself, like especially not now, like when you're trying to tear me down, like I'm not gonna pull back on that. So I think that's like really important because I think we as artists a lot of times, like, you want people to like your work, and so you're looking for that validation, but you really have to have it with you first, and do something that you like first. And so I think that's the only way really I'm able to even finish a book is because I like it. Right. If I didn't like it, like I couldn't leave it alone. I have to get it to that point where it's like past my test. And like even when I'm writing, like I'll keep going back to a point and I'll just keep looking at that and I'll keep reworking it until I finally get to that point where I'll read it and not even touch it no more. Like I won't let that go. Like I'm kind of weird when it comes to that, I guess. So I mean that really is important. People say it all the time, and just like when you're getting rejected, you got to know that like you have a place in this industry. You know what I'm saying? It's really just about getting in front of the right people, and staying on it, staying consistent. Consistency is really important. I got lucky that people still even knew who I was when it comes to my book. Like honestly, I went from my last book for Kamani True was 2008. So here I am, a traditionally published author, and I have this big line back of me, and then here I come again in like 2014, and I'm independently branching out on my own and stuff like that. So that was a big test for me, and I won't lie, like I was kind of unsure going out and putting that out there. I didn't go super hard with it because I wasn't sure how it'd be received, but I've been really lucky that people have shown me a lot of love and people just really like what I do, and I really can't ask for more than that. And I really just appreciate them like more than they know. There are times where I've definitely had like moments where I wanted to give up. I really was like, why do I do this anymore? Why do I write anymore? I think we all have the moments, and like I don't know if it's like my readers have like a sixth sense or something, but they like always was like, I'll find a new review, they'll send me something, and it just like lifts my spirits, and it's like, thank you so much. But I think it's still important. Like I think now I'm a little bit more like relying on myself too, that I like am more confident. I've definitely like my confidence has grown for sure. Wow. Yeah.
So tell us where we can reach out to you. Give us your Instagram, because you got a dope Instagram.
Yes, and I need more followers, man. I need like people who actually like and comment and stuff. Like I show love back. I'm not like stuck up. I'm down to earth. And it's so funny too, because I'll have like readers who like freak out that like I responded to them or something, like, come on, favorite out there, and I'm like, I'm so regular, y'all. Like it's just me. Like I don't know. I don't think I'll ever really get used to that type of stuff. But you can follow me on Instagram at Call Me Miss Carter. So CALLMEMISSCARTA. But that's pretty much my handle for like all my sites. So Twitter, Instagram. I'm pretty much on. I'm like Instagram all the time. But I'm on Twitter a lot too. I do the Facebook a little bit. I really can't get with the Snapchat. I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm old. I don't know. I've tried so many times. But I do my Insta-Snap. Like I work the Insta-Snap, but and right now I have some really cool footage up from last night from the event and stuff, which was so dope. I can't wait till they come back, Sissy. I hope they come back soon. Trap Art. So I was like one of the hosts for that last night, and so it was like a party and like an art exhibit, and that little hood feel. Like I loved it. It was definitely all up my alley and my interest. So because I love art. That's one thing. I love history. Something that people might not like really get from me. But yeah, and I have like my blog. I just launched my blog in March on some total like random stuff. So formymisses.com is like me really trying to express myself and connect more with like other women and just like different stuff that goes on and things that we might not always like want to talk about because we feel like sometimes other people can't relate, or for me it's just a way to just express a lot of the stuff that I'm holding in that I'm not able to really get out through Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook and stuff. So it's a little more like uncensored me. So
cool. Well, you guys make sure that you check her out. This has been Conversations with Mann with Cassandra Carter.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, and good night. Watch anytime on any of these platforms.